you are a writer. I think you're 50 now or 49.
49.
50, 49. So boy, if you could see Kirby's look when I said he was 50. It's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain, and there's no way I'm going to try to sing a Guns N' Roses song as we enter November and as we enter episode number 174 of the Promo UPFront podcast. I am one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, is the general arbiter of generative AI, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the heck are you today?
I'm doing well. You know, it's funny. There's certain songs that resonate, I'm sure, with everybody different. Whenever you bring out GNR, man, I am a big Guns N' Roses fan. That kind of came up in the prime of my high school and college career. So yeah. November Rain is the song I think about when it turns over into November. And especially when I think of Ohio weather, which it can be kind of dreary and rainy in November. Yeah. So love that song. Love that reference. So I'm doing well, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm wearing my official PromoCations Cozumel t-shirt, awesome. Very vibrant there. So as we record this on Wednesday this week, because I'm heading down to Fort Lauderdale tomorrow on Thursday, and we welcome all the second promo cruisers to Fort Lauderdale on Friday, setting sail on Saturday. Obviously trying to get all the ducks in a row on the Brandivate side, and then getting everything ready for the group coming in on Friday. Been a little hectic, and then you throw Halloween in the mix. It's been very hectic, but actually I'm in a good place and pretty excited. And man, I can't wait to get down there and do the promo cruise again. Promo cruise again. But, you know, as I've been doing all this planning and thinking, something occurred to me. Okay. I something rattled my brain. And I know it's the end of the year. We've got 2 months left. And I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Are you looking for completely kick-ass branded merchandise, Kirby? You know the kind I'm talking about. Yeah. You know, the type of merchandise that really gets that wow or aha that we really want from our target audiences. Is that something you're looking for?
Well, it's what I'm looking for, but I hope it's what my clients are looking for.
Well, I know it's what your clients are looking for, and I know it's what you're looking for. And you don't have to look any further than our pals over at Seven Sourcing, Russ, and all the crew over there. Awesome people. They are experts in the field. They work with distributors to help them find and source custom orders directly from fully vetted overseas factories. And it's without having to deal with the factory at all. You know, this is one of the things we talk about a lot in our podcast, Kirby, about the challenges and potential pitfalls of ordering overseas. Russ and his company really help take care of that. Seven Sourcing has a very strong pedigree when it comes to navigating custom direct merchandise sourcing, and their team has over a quarter century of doing exactly that. And even better, they work directly with you, every distributor, on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. Wow, about ran out of breath there. In other words, they completely, and this is no joke, folks, no joke. They completely demystify direct custom sourcing. And while they source merchandise at the lowest possible cost, they're never going to sacrifice either quality or safety to meet price points. And that's important. Seven Sourcing isn't interested in meeting expectations. They only strive to exceed them. Kirby, this is a tremendous opportunity for distributors just like you to wow their clients with fully custom merchandise, isn't it?
It is. And the thing about it is I've always been kind of reticent on trying to do something overseas on my own, and having a partner like Russ and his team really make it just takes the stress. There's stress in everything, but definitely decreases the stress in something like that.
Well, and you see the horror stories all the time where people didn't fully vet the people they were working with. Clients they're out thousands and thousands of dollars. Working with Seven Sourcing and Russ is a great way to mitigate that. And I agree with everything you said, Kirby. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer. The average order is about 75 days. But isn't that extra planning worth it to get that wow moment? I think you and I absolutely think so.
Totally right.
So So when you're ready to move away from off-the-shelf solutions and wow your clients with off-the-wall, reach out to Seven Sourcing at sales@sevensourcing.com. All right, Kirby, I have the honor of doing the upfront this week. I put a lot of preparation into this, so I'm really excited to get into this topic I'm about to mention.
Okay. Are
I
you?
thought you were.
Yeah,
No, I'm being.
no. So I was going to say, I actually kind of wanted to ask you a couple questions if it's all right.
I'm shocked. Take over, Kirby.
Well, again, I think that this is one of those moments where I think that the no-brainer topic for the promo upfront is the PromoCruise and the promocations. I've actually been having conversations about it. I was you appreciate this. I was on a promo soapbox meeting with a supplier, and I was talking to them about it, and so apparently it's on my mind. But I think it makes more sense for me to ask you a couple questions, I think, than for you to go off on a soliloquy. So,
I agree.
So, in the interest of transparency, I was on the first cruise. It was amazing. I'm actually. I don't generally have a ton of promo FOMO, but I totally do this time because it really was a great event. So, but I have a couple quick questions about this one because it, you know, it's the second one. So I guess 10,000 foot, just like you're getting ready to leave. How's the event shaping up?
I think it's shaping up great. You know, different location this time. Last time we went to Nassau in the Bahamas. This time we're heading to Cozumel, Mexico. And so I'd say right now, you know, the focus and the excitement is, okay, we have a different location now, Ron. Even though it's the same class of boat, it's a different boat. So there are a couple of things that are different. But for a lot of people, it's their first promo cruise. And so they have no idea what they to expect other than what they saw the first time. And so to me, it's shaping up to be a heck of an event. We have put a ton of work into refining some things from the first cruise and making it as best as possible for everybody to really have those collisions we talk about. And so hope people really take advantage of that while we're there.
Okay, so this is the thing that when we, you know, I was living with you through the first experience. Every single thing was the first time, and one of the things that I said was, "Oh, it'll be easier to plan the next time." So, what has been easier this time?
Yeah, there have been a couple things easier because you as you're building the first of anything, you're building every support column for it. Building the website, didn't have to rebuild a website, had to change it, certainly had to update a page or two, but didn't have to build it from scratch. The app,
which I know was a big lift.
It was a huge lift. And now it's just changing data points in the app, changing a few things here and there, so it's not building it and getting it published for the first time, which was really the most.
That was down to the wire last time, I think, right?
And so you have a lot of those things, and those are the front-facing things. Those are things everybody sees, but then all the back-facing things that people don't see. The trying to do 5 dinners and change people around so that they know where they're sitting, and everybody gets a new dining experience every night so that they're having those collisions. At the same time, being sensitive to a couple of our promo cruisers who are extremely allergic to gluten. And so, how do we manage that? So that's been easier. Managing, how the space flows for the one-on-one meetings. We've done it before. Okay, we know what changes need to be made. So there's been a lot of things that have been easier just because we've had the experience.
So, okay. So the opposite side, though, I'm sure that, when there's easier stuff, there's probably some things that are harder. Has there been anything that you're like, oh, it was actually easier the first time than this time for whatever reason?
Ignorance is bliss. And so I think, the thing that's difficult this time is, so many people were kind and said what you said. It was the best industry networking event I've been to, best industry event I've been to. And that's wonderful to hear. But we both, Josh Robbins and I, took a very critical look. Okay, that's awesome. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to make it easier? What can we do? So
now the expectations are higher, right? Like,
when we had the first promo cruise, we had a lot of people watching us, just kind of like, a lot of people supporting us, but like, man, can they pull it off? And then there were some people who honestly didn't want us to pull it off. I mean, the vast majority wanted us to, but there's always people who are detractors. And now we pulled it off. Now it's okay. Now it's the new. What's hard is the newness is gone. So we now have an event to compare it to. Everything will be compared to that first promo cruise. And that's a challenging thing because certainly it was very successful because of the planning that was done.
Yeah.
But some of it, you can't take away the serendipitous moments that were
for
there,
sure.
whether that's, and serendipity to me in this type of event, things are out of your control. The weather
Totally.
was perfect the first time. There's rain scheduled a couple times during this event. I mean, it's the Caribbean. It's what happens.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
hopefully we don't get a lot of rain. The people on the first cruise, I mean, you talk about a band of brothers and sisters in this industry. There are people who wear it very much as a badge of honor that they were on that first promo cruise. And that's not to say the people who are on the second promo cruise aren't just as awesome and maybe
Yeah.
even more awesome.
Yeah.
But there's always something to compare it to now. So once you have something to compare it to, now people just mentally start sliding. Well, this cruise is better than that one, and this,
Yeah.
especially some of the suppliers who are returning suppliers. So that's a difficult thing to try to make sure that it's always the best possible experience it can be. And so I guess I put it down to is finding things to perfect. How do we? Okay, this was good. How do we make it better? And we think we've done that. The proof will be in the pudding after the cruise.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so just final question, and then I have a sort of a thought, sort of advice for the people on the ship. What's the best thing? What do you enjoy most about sort of the planning process? I mean, I would guess getting on the boat, but I don't know.
I think the planning process is there's so many moving parts, and Josh Robbins runs Vault Promotions. I run Brand of Eight. So this is not, Promocations is, I guess, a side hustle in the literal sense of the term. I think over the last 2 weeks, finally seeing everything come together. We have the manifest done. We know what time we're boarding. The app is done, and seeing it, it's almost like a puzzle. And this piece fits, and this piece fits. And you're so busy trying to find that next piece. Sometimes we don't step away and look at the puzzle and say, oh, this is really coming together.
Yeah.
I've done an exceptionally poor job of doing that. My head has been so down in it, trying to find that next puzzle piece, complete it, get it where it's supposed to be. I really don't think up until yesterday I had a chance to really back away and go, wow, this has really come together very nicely. And I'm really getting excited. So, I think that might answer your question.
No, it does. My final thought, and you sort of alluded to it in the first thing. So one of the things that I think happened, and I remember it being completely organic, was certainly you guys did a great job of planning. Hey, we're all going to meet at such and such, whatever. But as soon as we were on the boat, the group did that on their own. Like almost immediately, it was like everybody found their way to the pool bar, and it was like it started to fracture, and then hey, everybody's over there, and everybody came. And I say that to say that we all sort of made the most of it. We're like, hey, we're here. So although I could go off on my own because it's a cool boat and all those things, most of us took the time to go, you know what? Part of the reason I'm here is to network and have fun. And I think that's why by the end of the week, we got as much out of it as we did. Does that make sense?
No, I would agree. I think, look, you've made the time dedication to take time away from your family, from your businesses to be here. So be here, be with the group as much as you can. I think what you said was perfect. Kirby, do you know what time of year it is?
Tell me.
It's a simple question. I mean, you don't have to really labor over it.
Seems like November.
I'll tell you what time of year it is. It's time for an EQP special. And this one runs through the end of the year, which I love. So the next 2 months.
Yeah.
That's right. Our good pals over at Kanata have put the Epicolor plush on EQP pricing through the end of the year. It's a super soft blanket combined with edge-to-edge sublimation that creates a stunning gift that will enhance any brand or event. Heck, they even have a ton of stock designs available, no charge, if you don't know what you want to do with your edge-to-edge sublimation. So you have to order at least 24 pieces for the EQ pricing to kick in, and setup charges do apply. But gosh darn it, if it's not a fantastic opportunity for any distributor, and you can learn more at kanatapromo.com. So, all right, Kirby, I think it's my turn finally to talk about something that's really close and near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
I want to talk about the branding of Halloween, Kirby.
Oh, okay.
So you are a writer. I think you're 50 now, or 49?
49.
49. So boy, if you could see Kirby's look when I said he was 50. I'm 4 years older than you. I'm 53. And so we grew up at a time where Halloween was very different than what it is now. Yeah. Halloween, you'd use pillowcases to gather your candy. You'd have a pretty crude low rent outfit.
Yep.
And it was really
Terrible
running
masks.
from house to house. Yeah, terrible mask, very scary. But over the course of time, it's become this thing. I mean, there are people, this is their Super Bowl. Halloween has become their
Yeah.
Super Bowl. And I even know how we treat it. We don't sit at the door and wait for people to come to us. We're out in the driveway. We have our bar open. We serve drinks. There's a certain shot I make every year for Halloween. Everybody waits for it. It's become an event. How do you think that came to be? And then I have a follow-up question.
Oh, I think the dollar bills, baby. I think it is completely, you follow the money on this. I think that Halloween has become, I don't know if it's the second biggest,
Yeah.
money grab holiday. And I actually, that sounds like a much more negative term than I mean, but I think that part of it's been follow the money, and part of it is it's the opposite of Christmas, right? Like it's the opportunity where you can get into some mischief and you can, hand out liquor, and it's I think it's between those two things. That's why I'd say that it's kind of taken off like that.
I would agree. I think it's it seemed like our generation of parents didn't really participate other than ushering their kids. And now I see a lot of parents dress up with their kids, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we turned the corner that, anything, sexy, whatever is a costume, sexy vampire, sexy nun, which always makes me tense.
Yeah.
All that stuff. The one thing I would say, though, as we've done a really good job of rebranding Halloween, what I love about it more than anything else, and I would assume it's like this in Coshocton, not sure with your new house and the location and all that, but it's the last true community event in the neighborhood. And I don't want to ever lose that. And so I'm imploring, I will vote for anyone who will stop making Halloween the 31st and make it the last Saturday of October. It's not a simple thing. This is not some significant actual day. Just put it on the last Saturday of October. It would make it a lot easier. We shut down early last night, it's a school night and all that. So I'd like to see that personally.
So I think that's interesting. I would also, I guess, what's funny to me is that every place around here, it was that, like, all the parties were on the last Saturday. Our trick or treat night was actually on Saturday, which is unique because usually it's a Thursday night or whatever. And so my only complaint was that it got to Halloween and Halloween was over essentially here. And so I like your concept though.
I wish then everybody would do that. That sounds great. You could have, you could make it a day. You say kids trick or treat from noon until 4 or whatever, and then it's adults are going to have their Halloween parties that night. This stuff's not that hard to figure out, but yet we don't figure it out.
Yeah, my complaint was that the trick or treat was at 5 to 6:30 in the evening. And so, and usually you do 5 to 6:30 because it's after work or whatever. And I totally get it. But on a Saturday, it's like, okay, there are probably people who didn't participate and hand out candy because they wanted to go to dinner. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
In here, it was just like, it starts whenever it starts and it ends whenever it ends. And so when we were outside around the fire pit and we hadn't seen a trick-or-treater for 20 minutes, guess what? Halloween is over.
Yeah, that's right. That's interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Kirby, do you have a topic for us? Because I don't know about you. I'm excited about your topic.
Okay, good. So I want to talk about NIL.
All right. Name, image, and likeness.
That's right. So it's been, believe it or not, it's been more than 2 years since NIL deals went live. And so a lot of marketers are still calling it the Wild West. And now obviously it's still evolving. We're seeing more and more. And again, one of the things I always like to say, transparency, like I'm a fan. Like I think most people are not, it feels like everybody's always complaining about the NIL and how people get paid and stuff like that. I think it's great because I'm like, we allow for that in every other area. If there's an engineer who has a following on Instagram, we would never begrudge them getting a job in the summer and leveraging it. But somehow because they're a basketball player, then it's evil. That doesn't make any sense to me. But from a marketing perspective, I think it is really evolving. And you're seeing the USC quarterback on Wendy's commercials. You're seeing from American Eagle to Shake Shack have campaigns around college athletes. So as a marketer, what do you think of like partnering with a college athlete? And when do you think, what kind of brands,
Yeah.
when do you think it might be appropriate?
Right now, I think it's so disjointed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Part of that, the part of the name, image, and likeness, the whole thing's a mess. I mean, this is the reason we have name, image, and likeness is because the NCAA, the governing body of collegiate sports, was asleep at the wheel. This
Mhm.
has been coming for decades,
Right.
and they did nothing. So I don't feel sorry for the people at the NCAA that it is just a ridiculous Wild West right now, and it is.
Yeah.
One of the challenges with name, image, and likeness, though, outside of a local community. Now, granted, Caleb Williams plays for USC in Los Angeles,
Yep.
but they don't have any. Oh, they don't allow him to wear any school stuff. So
Right.
part of the name, image, likeness problem is it took me 3 or 4 commercials to realize who is that. I'm sure he's famous. I'm
Yeah.
sure he plays quarterback somewhere, but I wasn't sure. And so because they can't wear a uniform or a jersey or a hat or whatever, I don't
Which is
think it's as
just
effective
dumb.
if people, yeah, it's just not as effective if people want it to be. I don't think I answered your question. I did exactly what a politician does. I said what I wanted to say, and I completely forgot your question. Kirby, what was your question?
I was just what would you do? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think brands should participate in
Oh,
them? You know, like
I
that's
I think it makes sense much more right now for local brands. That's the point I was trying to make.
yes.
I think it makes sense for, you have, let's say, Shadur Sanders, who's the
Mm,
quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes. I think his cachet is much more valuable in the state of Colorado
big
than
time.
it
Yeah,
is
sure.
anywhere else. So if you have a 3-chain restaurant, that's who I'd go in Colorado. That's who I'd go after.
Yeah.
The quarterback for Texas A&M, Connor Wegman, he's hurt right now, but if I'm a Houston area company or college, Texas, that's what I'm focused on. Same thing with Ewers, who at the University of Texas. I think it works much better on that local / regional level because there's no, I can't just glance at it and say that's who that is.
Mhm.
There's not that facial recognition yet, and there's certainly not in the apparel they're wearing. So I think it makes sense for local regional companies for sure.
Yeah, I think you and I are sort of on the same page about this. Obviously, I had the chance to ask the question, so I'd had a little more
Sure.
time to think about it. But
Right.
I think you sort of went where I was thinking, and that's micro. I would treat it like micro influencers.
Yep.
I mean, I think getting Caleb Williams on, Hasseman Marketing is not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
so you were mentioning quarterbacks. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But I think it would be interesting to look at other
Every
athletes
athlete.
that play
Different
tennis
sports.
or
Yes.
volleyball or pickleball who have a
Yeah.
following and then quite frankly would be so over the top excited to get a sponsorship deal
Correct.
because they're not getting hit up that they would go over the
Right.
top with their content, not just on a
Right.
commercial, but how do we partner on creating some kind of content together? I think that would be, if I'm doing a marketing campaign around the NIL, that's where my head goes. So that's my
No,
thought
I
about
agree
that.
with you. I think that's great stuff. All right, Kirby, one quick topic before
Yep.
we head into the picks, and I've been wanting to talk about this for weeks.
Oh gosh.
Um, but it's not going to be 2024 business trend predictions. We're just going
Right.
to push that off a week. Um, I don't know if you saw this, but Joe Biden, who's president of the United States right now,
I've
has
heard of
signed
him.
an executive order regarding artificial intelligence.
Mm,
And I wanted to share a little bit about that and how you think it might impact the marketing tool. So he signed this agreement or this landmark executive order establishing new standards around AI development and use. So really what it's doing, it's mandating safety testing and reporting requirements for AI systems. So what they want to do is balance the rapid progress of AI tools with responsible development. And specifically, the order directs the Federal Trade Commission to use its authorities to promote fair competition in the AI development and use. But what that does, it opens the door, obviously, to a potential antitrust actions as larger companies buy smaller companies. And they're also focused on mitigating the bias of AI, how it's programmed. Kirby, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. AI we talk about Wild West. AI has been in a ridiculous Wild West. Now we have an executive order that, more than anything else, it allows the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, to get their nose involved if they want. What do you think about this?
I think that my initial reaction is begrudgingly. I think that it probably makes sense to have some oversight over some of it. But every time something like this comes up, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Something else that the government can suck at regulating. I like and regulate something that they don't understand at all. Like the idea that they have submit to testing, like the best these companies are going to use AI to submit to because it really makes me nervous that it can run unhinged. I'm not sure it doesn't make me more nervous to have a bureaucrat having to stamp whether you like something's okay or not. Having been through some of these creating businesses that where you have to have some sort of approval, it's amazing that people do business at all sometimes. So it really makes me nervous to involve the government. Sorry.
Yeah, so I have a little. No, don't be. I have a. I mean, it's a hot button issue, right?
Yeah.
And but here's what I think, and I am just before I say what I'm about to say, I don't like government regulation any more than anybody else. I mean, what is it? We say it all the time, or I say it all the time. Is I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. That's the scariest thing anybody can ever say. But this is too little, too late. The horse is already out of the barn. You're not going to get it back.
Right.
And so, and agree. And the thing I think of is, man, this is going to make it worse. It's going to make everything worse because who is to decide? Who is the moral authority to decide that is not bad or that is not good? Whatever metric they're going to apply, and who knows what it's going to be.
Yeah.
This is absolutely a case where we are trying to, technology is racing in one direction, and we're trying to throw these tethers to it and pull back to a system that maybe doesn't fit this new technology.
Right.
This is not railroads. This is not steel making, coal mining, and that's what the FTC was built to do, right?
Yeah.
We can look at Walmart. Walmart can't buy Target. We all understand why Walmart shouldn't buy Target, right? There has to be some competition there. This is different. Now, where I think the government could maybe get involved, I'd like to see a little more transparency around data collection with AI. I do. I don't know who has what. I don't know who owns what. If I create something in Midjourney, which I do often, by the way, visually, I use it basically as my stock photo. Do I own it? Well, AI is pulling from 5, 10, 500, I don't know, different images to create a quote unquote new image. Do I own that? I don't know. So I think there are points where someone needs to figure that out. And it's not going to be the developers.
Right.
There needs to be some sort. So I agree with you. I don't want the government involved in regulating, but I would like them involved in defining who owns what kind of transparency, how, what if someone used Midjourney and I, let's say I'm a popular figure in movies and they use my image. That's my image. Don't I own that? But now it's in Midjourney. So there's some very complex stuff here. I don't love government interference. I never have. I never will. But I just think it's a little too late on a lot of that stuff.
Fair enough.
Good talk. All right, let's talk about football picks for PPF. It's just Kirby and I this week. Next week, we will have on the boat. We will have a guest pick, Kirby.
Oh, nice. Okay.
One Matt Shoecart from EPS. But let's talk about this week. We both did well last week. We both went 4-2. At this point, though, you are 4 games ahead of me. You are 29-13. I am 25-17. This is the week it's got to come together, or else something's going to happen. So let's look at the collegiate schedule. Kansas State, ranked number 25th, is going to go down to Austin and play those Fighting Beavos of Texas, number 7th ranked. Who do you got, Kirby?
We are at Texas. I think Texas is strong this year. Plus, this will irritate you, so I'm going Longhorns.
Kansas State Wildcats. All right. Missouri ranked in the SEC, surprisingly ranked number 14.
Yeah, good for them.
Heading down to Athens, Georgia to play the Bulldogs. Kirby, between the hedges. they've Georgia's been undefeated for a long time. They haven't lost in like 26, 27 games. Missouri's a good team. Is this the week that Georgia loses?
Absolutely not. I
Okay.
think at the end of the day, when we're playing these we're making bets and
Yeah.
we're making predictions, we can try to pull the upset like you do when you're picking March Madness, or you can go chalk.
Yeah.
This is chalk. This is Georgia all day.
Yeah. Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby. All right, let's go. For 13th ranked LSU Tigers, the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah, this one's a hard one.
Heading down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to face the number 8th ranked Crimson Tide. Who do you got?
Hey, this one, I thought this was this was the toughest college game for me to pick. Yeah. Got, Brian Kelly's a heck of a football coach, but sometimes he's a cartoon. I can't decide. So I'm going to go, it's at Alabama. I'm going Crimson Tide on this one.
LSU Tigers, Kirby. All right, so let's head to the pros.
Okay.
We've got a neutral site game. I love a good neutral site game, and this is an amazing neutral site game.
You got some good games you picked this week. These are good ones.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch this one. We'll be in our one-on-one sessions, but I'll keep an eye on the score. The Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs in Frankfurt. Who do you got?
I am picking this based on last week. I think that one of the things that when you have a really bad outing and you're a really good team, and you have to hear about that shit for a whole week, I think Kansas City is going to bounce back. So I go Chiefs on this one.
All right. This probably is a game of the week. I'm going to go Dolphins, though. I don't believe in the fighting Tay-Tays. So I'm going to go with the fish there. All right. My favorite team, the Dallas Football Cowboys, traveling all the way to the Mid-Atlantic Northeast section of the United States to play the Philadelphia Eagles in a game that's been anticipated for over 77 years. Kirby, who do you got?
Yeah, I tell you, the Cowboys looked really good last week. And the Eagles did not
let them fool you.
Didn't look good last week. And I'm basing this week's pick on last week. And I think the Eagles will look better. And it's at Philadelphia. So I'm going Eagles.
Okay. Game of the year, obviously. I don't think that's
obviously.
Clearly. I am often fooled by my Dallas Cowboys. They lull me into a sense of security to think that they got their stuff together. They've done it again, Kirby. I'm going to go Dallas Cowboys on this one. And then to close out the week, Buffalo Bills head into the Cincinnati area to play the Bengals, who happen to play football in Cincinnati. Who do you got?
Yeah. So I'm going to say that, last week is really going to influence this week's pick. And Joe Burrow looks like he is back. They really put it on San Francisco. I'm going Bengals at home.
Yeah, I think when the schedule makers looked at the entire year, this is probably the game of the year. I don't think that's really in dispute. I don't believe in Buffalo. Boy, I like watching them play, but Josh Allen seems to have regressed so much. So I am going to go for the Fighting Joe Burrows as well. So all right, Kirby. Well, hey, this is hard stuff. There's a lot of things that are hard in the world, like overseas sourcing is hard.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's a group of people in 7 Sourcing that make it easier for you because they work directly with each distributor on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. They truly demystify direct custom sourcing. And they're always going to try to get the lowest possible price, but never at the sacrifice of quality or safety. Russ and his team over there do a phenomenal job, and you're doing yourself and your clients a disservice if you don't chat with them. They will help you create merchandise that gets that wow we all want. So when you're looking for off the wall instead of off the shelf, head over to 7sourcing.com or email them at sales@7sourcing.com. Kirby, it's been my pleasure to podcast with you before I sail away on a ship in the Caribbean Ocean, Earth.